Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to each and everyone, especially those at the other side of the world. There is no time and space between us, there is only this present moment, and we are one. Let's continue reading the diary of Saint Faustina Kowalska. On diary entry number 1263, up to now I have been wondering, with some fear, where these inspirations would lead me. My fear increased when the Lord made known to me that I was to leave this congregation. This is the third year passing by since that time, and my soul has felt in turns enthusiasm and an urge to act. And then I have a lot of courage and strength. And then again, when the decisive moment came to understand the word draws near, I feel deserted by God. And because of this, an extraordinary fear pervades my soul. And I see that it is not the hour intended by God to initiate the work. These are sufferings about which I don't even know how to write. God alone knows what I put up with day and night. It seems to me that the worst torments of the martyrs would be easier for me to bear than what I am going through, though without the shedding of a drop of blood. But all this is for the souls, for souls, Lord. Hanggang ngayon, iniisip ko pa rin ang may kaunting takot kung saan ako dadalhin ng mga inspirasyong ito. Nadagdagan ng aking takot nang ipaalam sa akin ng Panginoon na aalis na ako sa kongregasyong ito. Ito ay 3 taon na lumipas mula nung panahong iyon. At nadama ng aking kaluluwa sa magkasunod na sigla at pagnanais na kumilos. At pagkatapos ay nagkaroon ako ng maraming lakas ng loob at lakas. At muli kapag ang mapagpasyang sandali upang isagawa ang gawain ay malapit na, ako ay nakadarama ng pag-iiwan ng Diyos. At dahil dito, isang pambihirang takot ang namayani sa aking kaluluwa. At nakikita ko na hindi ito ang oras na inilaan ng Diyos upang simulan ang gawain. Ito ay mga paghihirap na hindi ko alam kung paano isulat. Ang Diyos lang ang nakakaalam kung ano ang tinitiis ko araw at gabi. Para sa akin, ang pinakamasamang pagdurusa ng mga martir ay mas madali para sa akin kaysa sa aking pinagdadaanan. Kahit na walang pagbuhos ng isang patak ng dugo, ngunit ang lahat ng ito ay para sa mga kaluluwa. Para sa mga kaluluwa, Panginoon. So up to this moment, itong panahong ito noon, September 1937, binapagabag pa rin si Faustina nung thought o pag-iisip na kailangan niyang magtayo ng bagong kongregasyon. May vision naman na siya kung ano ang klase ng kongregasyon na binubuo ito ng iba't ibang mga laiko na nakita niya yung isang gusali. May vision na siya noon. Pero parang siguro sa tingin niya napakahirap kasi nga isa siyang pangkaraniwang madre lamang, wala siyang posisyon, wala siyang tinig kumbaga because she was at the lowest rank in the convent, the second choir nuns. And because of her known weaknesses of herself, her status, that is where her fear was coming from. So how could an ordinary nun like Faustina be able to establish a new congregation, a congregation with specifics based from what Jesus was telling her. So ngayon, meron na tayong Divine Mercy Apostolate. There are also many other organizations of the Divine Mercy existing. In our diocese, there are also other groups devoted to the Divine Mercy, doing their work separate from us. Hindi naman natin kayang gawin lahat ito. And so we have to welcome all other groups who are sincerely promoting, evangelizing, and spreading the news about hope, about the Divine Mercy. So we are where we are right now because of the sufferings of Faustina. She had to undergo several mental sufferings, psychological, no? Ganun. Kasi nga, sabi nga niya, wala namang pumapatak na dugo. Pero ang kanyang pagdurusa at paghihirap ay mas matindi pa kaysa sa pinagdaanan ng ibang kaluluwang martir, no? Na pinatay. Pero mabilis lang. Tapos nun, tapos na. But for the part of Faustina, she had to go through several challenges pa. No? Kasi nga buhay pa siya eh. Parang katulad ng isang naghihiganti, ayaw nila na patayin agad yung kanilang paghihigantihan. Gusto nila pagdaanan muna ang paghihirap. So in the case of Faustina, she was into the process of going through different levels of sufferings. May physical, may mental, may emotional, may no, lahat na, spiritual crisis. She had to undergo all this. And sometimes she felt like the Lord is invisible, is not showing up. The Lord is not there at her side. Lalo na kapag inaalipusta siya, sinasabihan ako ano-anong masasakit na mga bagay. No. She was all alone. And for us, yung bagamat ang ganda, no? Nakakausap niya ang Panginoon, nagkakaroon siya ng visions of the future. Pero hindi rin siya ganun kaganda. Kasi nga, with that power comes greater responsibility. No, kung binigyan ka ng mas maraming kaalaman, lakas, skills, eh, ang dami rin yan kapalit. At mahirap, no? Parang ang dali lang, ang sarap, no? Na kapag teleport ka, kausap mo pa, parang ang sarap, no? Subalit every time that she would have an encounter with the Lord, a new task is expected of her. Eh bakit kailangan? Eh natural lang po yun. Sapagkat kung binigyan siya ng panibagong lakas at kapangyarihan, eh saan niya gagamitin niya na lang ang mga paganda-ganda points lang siya, no? So she had to use all those power, all those graces that she was receiving for the benefit of other souls. So which is, she was given something to eat, and that was too much for her. She had the obligation to share it to those who are hungry. Ganun po yun, na parang titingnan mo, no, wow, ang sarap naman, ang dami ko natatanggap na blessings, no? Ngayon, kapag ikaw na binayayaan ng Diyos sa mga iba't ibang mga ah, blessings o pagpapala, no? Tapos sinarili mo lang yan, eh, ang tunguhin mo niyan ay baka doon din sa mabilis na landas, no? Tas ang bilis-bilis ng takbo mo, pagdating mo doon sa ulo, malalim na bangin pala, and you had no choice, there's no turning back. So the only choice that you had or that you will have pag naabot mo yung daan na yon ay malalim na bangin. Maaari mo ikamatay, no? Kaya yung mga allurements, no, yung mga pang-akit ng mundong ito para sa magandang buhay ko, no, at kung ano-ano pa. No, yan ay sa una lamang maganda. You will have that feeling of being special, of being taken care of. But again, you will be affected by that. Kapag hindi mo engineer, hindi mo ibinahagi sa kapwa mo, sa mga kaluluwa, mag-overflow yan sa'yo. Kasi syempre parang kumbaga busog na busog ka na, binigyan ka pa ng additional na pagkain, eh, di ka na magkanda, ano, no? Kanda tapos-tapos sa pagkain. At dumarating tayo dun sa point na busog na, no? You cannot take in anymore. So, ganun din yun kay Faustina. Ah, nahihirapan siya kasi nga the grace that she was receiving is extraordinary. And then she had difficulty disposing all these graces kasi nga ordinary madre na serve lang ang kumbento. Yun yung mga sufferings si Faustina. Papaano niya yan? Lagpasan. Sabi ko nga sa inyo dati, di ba, yung makita mo lang kung paano ang isang karumaldamal na krimen ay ini-execute, you will pass out. Hindi mo kakayanin. Maliban na lang kung sanay ka nang makita yung mga ganong plano. Sanay ka na makita ang pagpatay, sanay ka na makita ang pangungurakot, no? Malibang ganon. But it also takes time for you to normalize, to become normal yung mga ganong mga sites ay maging normal sa'yo. Kaya lang, pag nagiging normal na yung mga big time crimes na yan sa'yo, wala ka ng kaluluwa noon kasi okay na sa'yo yung mga ganun eh. Normal na lang sa'yo ang pagnanakaw, normal na lang sa'yo ang pagpatay, no? That is why you have already lost your soul kapag naging normal yan sa'yo. But if you would lose your soul, pwede ka naman bumalik, no? The Lord will always accept you with open arms. Kapag ikaw ay nagbalik loob sa Kanya, Lord, patawarin mo ako. You know, no? It only takes, Lord, patawarin mo ako, no? It only takes those words for you to be forgiven and go back to the loop. But then again, iba yung awa, iba yung hustisya. So you will still have to experience the justice na kaalinsabay, no? Justice, kaalinsabay ng awa ng Diyos. Kaya, yung hustisya na yung nasasabi, mabigat din yan. And in this time of discernment, no? Nag-discern tayo ngayon eh, as a country. So, it's a collective discerning process. We are deciding, discerning as a country. Medyo mahirap, no? Pero alam mo yung madali lang siya in the sense na because many people are coming together, things are becoming easier. No, pushing the legislators to do what is good. Medyo madali lang, di ba? Kesa yung walang nagrereklamo, yung walang nag-voice out ng paningin. But this time, galit na yung taong bayan. That is why legislators, dun sa ating kamara, para sa Senado, no? They are pushed now. Hindi sila pwedeng magpatumpik-tumpik because the people are already voicing out. Iiwanan na sila. Otherwise, pag hindi sila umayon sa bugso ng kanararami, may iwan sila. So those who are still in the process ng pag-iisip kung anong gagawin at hindi ka makapag-decide hanggang ngayon, may iwan po kayo. Parang katulad ng mga nangyayaring ano sa kaguluhan sa House of Representatives at the Senate. So again, ng mga panahon na nasa darkness tayo, parang walang Diyos. Ngayon naman, you will feel that God is with you. God is with us and guiding us, helping us. Kaya lang, let's always uh, take in consideration na yung responsible tayo for every action that we would do. So, huwag tayo magpadala sa emosyon. Always be objective and always carry this mercy and justice concept that we have as Divine Mercy devotee in this time of a collective or countrywide discerning process for every Filipino.